Greetings and salutations, YouTube. This is Fragments of Memory, also known as your friendly neighborhood armchair philosopher. Yes, it's dark, my bad. On the internet and even offline, a lot of people are talking about, I can't find me a good man. There ain't no good men out here. None of these men out here is good. And I started to ask myself, what exactly is a good man? How do we define a good man? And I've spoken about this often on my channel. Like a lot of people say, I always say that we are creatures of both virtue and vice. We're not all one thing. We're not all good or we're not all bad. We're a sort of messy mixture of things. We're not just good people. We're not just bad people. I think everybody to a certain extent has gray. We're not all a monolith. We're a mosaic, not a monolith. Even in the Bible, Jesus Christ is reported to have said that a rich man comes up to Jesus Christ and Jesus says, why callest me good? There is none good, but you know there's none good but God. So we can have the argument about Jesus being just a prophet or the son of God. We can have that argument, but this ain't the video for it. Jesus was even saying there's none good but God. And the only reason I make that reference is even the man who's regarded as being the most holy and the greatest man that ever walked the earth was saying, why are you calling me good? Only God is good. So I would then pose the question. Now, Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor philosopher, before I pose my question, he said, let us not waste time arguing about what a good man is. Simply be one. And my response to that is, well, I got to know what it is for me to actually be it. So what quality should a man possess to be deemed good? Is it being hardworking? Is it being studious? Is it having fidelity? Is it having good manners? Is it having a good job? Is it having the house, the car, and the good job? Is it his love-making prowess? What makes a good man? What actions should a man do in order to be numbered among those that are considered to be good men? And for those women who say they want good men, I would ask the question, are you a good woman? Well, first of all, define good. And then, are you a good woman? Would you be able to handle a good man if you yourself don't possess those qualities? If you answer yes, that you are a good woman already, on what grounds do you say you're a good woman? Now, this isn't an attempt to bash women. This is just making a philosophical point. We all say we want somebody good, but can we truthfully say we're good enough to get that good person? And sometimes I've read a meme on social media which had a lot of truth to it. It said, sometimes you're the toxic one. Sometimes you're the abusive one. And I say this to myself, and I say this to anyone who may be listening to this video or watching this video. Are we in the position, who are we to be in, what type of position are we in, and who do we think we are to make demands upon other people? And there's a question I sometimes ask myself, which actually comes from a musical. It's called Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. The musical. Anyway, in it, he sings the line, am I a good man? Am I a bad man? And then he goes on to say, there's such a fine line between a good man and a bad one. So there's a fine line. So it's very interesting that he says that. And I do feel, like I say, it goes back to my argument that we are both creatures of virtue and vice. We're not all virtuous and saintly with hands folded across chests and singing hymns all day, but we're not low down and dirty and cutthroat. We're a mixture. We have to decide where we want to be and what we want to be closer to. And I've spoken on this before, but that's just something I think about. We always say, I want a good man. I want a good woman, but what the hell does that even mean? What do you define as good? And if you're setting that standard, can you meet the standards that you set? Or are you just saying, hey, you meet that standard and I can stay exactly the way I am And if you don't like it tough, and if that's how you roll, you may be a very miserable individual for a very long time. That's my 2 cents on it. What do you all think? Responses are appreciated, even the hate responses. Well, thank you all very much. Peace, and be easy like Sunday morning.